meet Team Czechoslovakia. Tonight's game to be refereed by Bill
For Team USA, Dominik Hasek. There's Richter now. He's playing in his third game. He's given up 9 goals his first 2 games. Plus, he'd like to have a little more help from his teammates in front of him. And Dominik Hasek, 26 years old, the property of the Chicago Blackhawks. He played 5 games for the Chicago Blackhawks this past season.
Proving to Mike Keenan and all the Blackhawk fans that he's more than just an International League goaltender. McCreary steps in to drop the puck, and the Czechs with Reichel at center ice win the draw. That's Musil up into the center ice zone. Yager is on the right side of this line with Kostak on the left. For the Czechs, that's Eric Weinrich back at the United States goal, teamed up with Brian Leach. Up front, a forward line that has Grolnik centering again for Kevin Miller and Mike Modano. A long shot handled by Richter, almost mishandled, and then played around the boards and held in by Czechoslovakia. Emil Kostak over on the left side, mishandled it, and Modano brings the U.S. team across the line. And Roenick is checked, and the puck cleared out. Here's a chance, but Yager failed to pick it up. Up right back in by Chelios, who's just come out on a player change, joined by Gary Sutер for the USA. Big hit along the boards there. Sutер feeds Chelios as Modano cuts through center ice. The pass to Roenick was knocked away by Schläger. Young Vancouver defenseman is yet to play at the National Hockey League. Ian Musil will get a rest now as Chelios plays one up the left wing boards for Ed Olchuk. On to Joel Otto's stick. One man back. Otto chased to the right side, and then his shot is deflected and goes out of play. We're 1 minute and 9 seconds into the opening period. This is the Labatt Canada Cup. Face-off coming in the Czech zone off to the left of goaltender Dominik Hasek.
United States Jigs trying to establish a hitting game early. They looked a little jittery from the first face-off. They were back in their own end, making some mistakes.
Here's the matchup that you referred to at center ice too, Ed. Joel Otto for the U.S. facing off against Michael Pavanka of Team Czechoslovakia. Pavanka from the Washington Capitals, 5 years with the Caps. Battle for the puck, won by Pavanka, and handled here by K.Hэтчер. Frank K.Hэтчer. Chicago Blackhawk defenseman Otto steps into the defenseman Gudas. That freed up the puck, but the Czechs right back on it. They turn it over in the center ice zone. Jimmy Johnson playing on the left side of the defense with Kevin Hatcher on the right for Team USA. Richard Zemlichka back of his own goal. 1990 choice of the Edmonton Oilers. There's Johnson with a long shot steered aside. K.Hэтчer trying to go back of that goal is checked on the play. Team USA with Otto in the slot and get it out there, but it's knocked away. Otto battling for it with Zemlichka. Zemlichka feeds it up ahead. Here's Pavanka cutting through center ice. USA gets 3 men back, and the Czechs go offside at the blue line.
Some mistakes by the Czechs now. The United States Jigs, we talked about just before the game started, the fact that they're going to have to poke check, or at least I should say forecheck a great deal. You saw Michael Pavanka, smooth skating. He's a good center iceman from the Washington Capitals, and Otto will have the assignment of trying to keep him from gearing up that line with Zemlichka and Jelinek. Jelinek on the right side. They're the veterans and the players that will do the most damage offensively for the Czech team.
U.S. coach Tim Taylor has made an adjustment on his forward line. He's got Miller playing on the left side with Janney and Brett Hull. And this is Brett Hull with a pass to Miller. Cross the line. Can't get it onto the stick of Hull. And back come the Czechoslovakians. This is Rosinsky over the line on the right side. He's hauled down. Play allowed to continue. The U.S. up with the puck. The pass off the boards to Janney, and it's knocked away. Then dumped in across the line. Brett Hull after it. Hull has Schmelik with him. Richard Schmelik, the draft pick of the Buffalo Sabres, unable to move it up the boards. Janney centers one in front. Hull was well covered on the play. And back comes Joseph Bernack. Bernack across the line, cuts to the right side, tries a backhander. And Palfi open in front of the net, elected to shoot it instead. Now they work it toward the blue line. Lucille plays it around the boards. This is Brian Leach of the New York Rangers. Up the boards, but not out. Lucille held it in. Couldn't get it to Seager in time for him to do anything with it. Sandal Seager played last season with the New Jersey Devils. Out on the left side of this line. Now Palfi's going to get a rest. And his other line mate, Beranek heads off the ice as well. There is no score. The game just nicely underway as we watch Brett Hull come through center ice. Nick handling across the line, then ridden into the boards by Schläger. Team Czechoslovakia breaks out 2-on-2, now 3-on-2 as they hit the U.S. line. The pass to the left side, big shot off the left arm of goaltender Mike Richter. That was Ludmir Kolnick off left wing with the drive. Back comes the American squad. Long shot handled by Pashek as Brown cut in. Doug Brown out with Christian and LaFontaine. At LaFontaine centers the drive, turned aside. The rebound, LaFontaine scores!
Pat LaFontaine returns to the action. His first game, his first shift, and how about that? Yes, thank you very much. He can put it in behind the best of goaltenders. This one comes the easy way. LaFontaine goes to the front of the net, takes a rebound, shovels it into the open side. Hasek, as we had explained, is a goaltender that loves to be down and spread out on the ice. He was down, didn't spread out far enough, and LaFontaine has made it 1-0 just 4 minutes into the hockey game.
In the opening game of the Canada Cup tournament, we've got an interference penalty coming here. We'll get back to that thought in a moment. The penalty will be against the U.S. The Czechs go to the power play. This is the Labatt Canada Cup.
Assist number 24, Д.Браун. Number 27, Dave Christian at 3:55. The goal scorer by number 16, Pat LaFontaine.
We're just going to... The penalty is on Team USA. Tony Granato gets the gate. It'll be just prior to the penalty against Granato, and Rolf Ritterwald in the Swedish net went down constantly. He was on the deck most of the afternoon in game one of this tournament, and the U.S. squad feasted off that type of goaltending. You saw where goaltender Hasek was, and you pointed out, down in the deck. He likes to go down early. That can play right into the hands of Team USA.
Particularly when you have a lot of rebounds around the net. If you're going to be a scramble-type goaltender, you better have defensemen that understand it and forwards that'll come back and help out.
The Czechoslovakians have not scored a power play goal on 10 opportunities in the tournament this year. And you saw Reichel with that long shot testing Richter. No problem there. The Czechs 0 for 10 and 5 chances against the Soviets, 5 more against the Finns, while the U.S. squad has killed off 7 of the 11 penalties called against them thus far.
Interesting to point too that Ivan Holinka now, he's the new coach of this Czechoslovakian team. You can just see this hair in behind. He's got a beautiful set of gray hair. You can just see him in behind Coach Walter there. But he was inserted into the coaching position. I guess the national coach, Stanislav Nevesely, they were falling into disfavor. They thought that the Czech team was getting very dull over the last few years. They wanted to have a more spirited team.
Yeah, 6th place finish at the World Championships will bring about a coaching change, won't it?
Yes.
Yager played one around the boards, the far side. That's Seeger setting it up at the blue line. And Lucille's shot bounces around in front, cleared at the Team USA defense, and Joey Mullen hangs it off the boards and out of harm's way. Quickly, the Czechs in the transition, trying to catch the United States in a player change, and Yager got his bell rung. And immediately, Reichel comes to his aid, going after Sutер. The puck cleared by Team USA. 52 seconds remaining in Granato's interference penalty. The Czechs trying to set up on the power play. Like to dump it in here. Chasing it is Tomas Jelinek. Jelinek put it back in the net for Pavanka. Backhand pass and then shot wide as K.Hэтчер came in off the left point. This is Tomas Jelinek again. Played it to the corner, got it right back. Looked toward the blue line, elected not to give it to the point man. The play develops back of the net. This is where a lot of the European teams like to set up. A la Wayne Gretzky of the Los Angeles Kings. Make the play from back of the goal. Of course, in European hockey, there's so much ice to work with back in the goal line that it's almost like a rink in itself there.
It's one of the areas you can take advantage of the extra man, too, because you can't send, as a penalty-killing unit, you can't send any more than 2 players over in one corner at one time.
Michael Pavanka's pass broken up at the line, but the Czechs recover, and the teams are at 6's side again. Again, they try to set something up. Pavanka centers it, steered wide, and just by an inch or two. Pavanka again trying to put it out. Was met by Gary Sutер. Sutер, the Calgary Flames, takes the man, and his defense mate Chelios has covered the puck.
Kolinick with a great scoring opportunity. He fanned on the pass. Pavonka from behind the net makes a perfect pass to him. They had Richter beat. There's the pass, there's the shot. He shoveled at it. He misfired on it. Best scoring chance for Team Czechoslovakia. There's Michael Pavonka, double teamed and hammered Д.Браун with a couple of pretty good hits. One of them, I believe that was he that hit Jaeger.
The up-to-date standings in the 1991 Labatt Canada Cup. Canada and Finland, even with 3 points each. Czechs, USA, and Sweden with 2 each. As have the Soviet Union now. Their big win today. Some upsets in the opening day. And here the USA leads 1-0. Hatcher with a long shot. Loved and held by Dominik Hasek. Hasek gets a bit of a nice shower. Held the puck.
Later on in the game, he'll welcome all of that snow raining in on him when he gets a little warm. But here, Hatcher with a hard shot. He can blister it. Watched him with the Washington Capitals. Kevin Hatcher, 24 years old. 24 goals he scored last year with that kind of a shot.
He led the Washington Capitals in scoring. Brian Leetch led the New York Rangers in scoring, so there is some power on defense for Team USA. Leetch is on the left side here now, with Weinrich over on the right up front. Eddie Olchuk works with Janney and Hull. Wearing Janney of the Boston Bruins, Brent Hull of the St. Louis Blues. Here's Janney. The high slot, his shot just drifted wide. A low shot. We've got a penalty call coming against Team Czechoslovakia. A hold detected by referee Bill McCreary right in front of the net. U.S. leads 1-0. This is the Labatt Canada Cup.
Penalty, Team Czechoslovakia. Number 18,
Czechoslovakia taking the penalty. The defenseman, Bacsa. Yargos Bacsa called for holding at the 6:44 mark.
I believe it was Eddie Olchuk who moved into the front of the net. There you see the arm around the neck. Number 12, Eddie O from the Chicago area.
Team USA's power play is connected on 3 chances, 3 of 13, I should say. Well, the Czechs have killed off all 10 penalties called against them in the 2 previous games. U.S. sets up in the center ice zone. Madonna dropped it back in. Here's Brent Hull turning at the line. Hull, Roenick, and Madonna dragged to the skates of Roenick as he gets over the line. Around Lucille, chips to the backhand. Can't score in the rebound, and then it was flipped over the net by Mike Madonna. Madonna of the Minnesota Stars had a great chance. In Czechoslovakia clearing the puck now.
What a fine move by Jeremy Roenick. Something we saw last Saturday afternoon against Team Sweden when he opened the scoring, and then the rebound missed.
Couldn't get around Lucille on that play. And Team Czechoslovakia has cleared it towards center ice. Up with it is Brian Leetch. Nice play across the line. Hull moves to the net. The pass to Roenick. He shoots, he scores!
Hasek beat him the first time he got in on the power play, not the second. Let's take a look as Brian Leetch, number 2, grabs the puck. Beautiful pass back. Actually, it wasn't that good a pass, but it was a beautiful recovery. Off the skates, put it ahead. Jeremy Roenick makes it 2-0, a power play goal. Brian Leetch, there's his pass. Look at the presence of Roenick. He reached back. That's hard to do with his left skate, pulled it ahead onto his stick, and then let it go. It was a partially screened shot on Dominik Hasek.
That'll be Roenick's 3rd goal in the Canada Cup of 1991. Team USA 2, Czechoslovakia no score. It played just over 8 minutes of the opening period now at the Joe Louis Arena in Detroit. Maka laid it to the right side. Zedlak put it in the U.S. zone, and it's recovered here. They come. Jimmy Johnson fed it back to the right side. Christian trying to put it in front for Brown. Play broken up. Team Czechoslovakia moves through center ice. That long pass goes offside at the U.S. blue line.
Brett Hull with the other assist on the goal. Saw Leetch break through. That's where Leetch is such an asset. A good defenseman, but he's also excellent offensively. He reads plays well, and he trapped the Czech team trying to break out short-handed. Brett Hall, and at the end of the first period we're going to talk to Pat LaFontaine and Frank Musil. Of course, LaFontaine of the U.S. team, Musil, Czechoslovakian team.
Tim Taylor, the interim head coach of Team USA. The report on Bob Johnson, still listed as critical but in stable condition. He was in a wheelchair most of today, we're told, went for therapy and also for speech therapy. Is still writing down instructions and communicating with the staff of the Pittsburgh Penguins and Team USA in that fashion. And there is reason to believe that if this rate of recovery continues, that very shortly he'll be able to return to his home in Colorado Springs and recuperate there.
I only hope that all falls into place for him. He's probably watching this hockey game if there's any opportunity. So if he is, hi Bob from Jigs and I, and all pulling for you to get well soon.
Team USA coaching staff, that's Mike Eves along with Tim Taylor, and referee Bill McCreary had been over talking with Ivan Halinka at the Czechoslovakia bench. Halinka played 2 seasons in the National Hockey League with the Vancouver Canucks. Likeable guy, big guy, quite a hockey player. Here's Weinrich teamed up with Hatcher again on the U.S. defense. Weinrich turned it over, and that long shot from Baccia gloved and held by Mike Richter.
Kind of a thing you just cannot do, make that mistake. Looked as though it was an unforced error, just handing it away. Weinrich has not had a lot of ice time in the hockey game so far. Probably his first shift. There's the pass intercepted. There's a rising shot. Richter, well out on the top of the crease, is able to handle it easily.
On the battle here, Joel Otto won the face-off, and Eric Weinrich tries a cross-ice pass in and out of the skates of Joey Mullen and controlled by Czechoslovakia. They turn it over. Zolchak feeds it up ahead. Otto racing and after it. He's taken to the boards. The puck comes loose for Palfe. Zygmunt Palfe, a draft choice of the New York Islanders in the draft of 1991, just 19 years of age. Palfe on the right side. His line mate, Beranek, taken off the puck and controlled now by Kevin Hatcher. Hatcher out of Grosse Pointe, Michigan, shoots from the blue line, just wide on a deflection. And after it is Joey Mullen. Dwolchuk trying to come out in front, got knocked off balance. Centering pass is picked off in the goal crease and brought back by Team Czechoslovakia. They move up 3-on-2. Palfe to his teammate Baccia, and Baccia ends up shooting it wide of the net. Dwolchuk takes the man. Handling the puck only momentarily was Mike Modano. He's got it again off right wing. Modano centers to Ronick, and it's broken up. Team USA 2, Team Czechoslovakia no score, reaching the midway point of the opening period. This is Gary Sutер out of the University of Wisconsin, playing now for the Calgary Flames in the National Hockey League. Team USA unable to get the play organized inside the Czechoslovakian zone. Czechs dumped it down the ice. It's something that the European teams are doing more and more, Ed.
Starting to play the North American style. You're right, Jigs. It's funny when you think that the Edmonton Oilers went to their Stanley Cups and won it. We got a delayed penalty here against Team USA. They won it by trying to copy a little of the European style, and now they're pulling more towards North American.
In Czechoslovakia going to the power play.
Penalty of the hockey game. That's Granato, number 21 there with the stick into the feet. Was the Czech player giving it a little extra as he dove off his skates. It's Granato in the penalty box, and another opportunity on the power play for Team Czechoslovakia. They only had one shot on goal their first power play.
And goaltender Dominik Hasek is at the Czechoslovakian players bench, and equipment being adjusted. Got the officials over there huddled around with him, except for linesman Mark Vines.
Well, as I had mentioned, he played 5 games for the Blackhawks. He had a 2.46 goals against average. He was the 3-time Czech Player of the Year, 87, 89, and 90.
And wouldn't you know, this is his 3rd Canada Cup appearance. Not just this year. I mean, 3rd time that he has participated in the Canada Cup play.
Yes, he started in 84, then again in 87.
Pile up after that face-off deep in the U.S. zone. On the power play, Yager is on the right side, Reichel in the middle, and Seeger is on left wing. Seal is on the right point, and on the left side is Yuri Schlager for Team Czechoslovakia. Joel Otto take the face-off here. Otto is able to pull it to his defenseman, Greg Wolanin, and down the ice it goes. And immediately, Team USA changes up. Otto was out there only to win the face-off. Now Doug Brown has come out with Kevin Miller as the penalty killers. Reichel goes to the left side, off the boards, and out of the reach of his teammate, Singer. Down the ice it goes.
One of the things that the Czech team boasts is their puck handling and skating ability, and so far in this hockey game, their puck handling ability has been next to none as they go offside again on the power play.
Yager didn't get outside the blue line quickly enough. Now they're going to make a complete change. Jaromir Jagr is 19 years of age with a Stanley Cup ring to his credit when they present him in Pittsburgh early this coming NHL season.
His rookie year, what a year he had. 27 goals, 30 assists, 57 points, and he played in all 80 games. And playing with his boyhood idol, and he's still a boy, Mario Lemieux.
Yeah, I said to somebody tonight, he's such a good kid. He said, underline, kid. He is just that, a kid.
You know, I don't think he shaves yet. He's got the greatest complexion for a man, a young man. I mean, it's just the rosy cheeks and just a great complexion.
If only he would smile a little more. He's always smiling.
Never stops smiling, exactly.
Back on the puck here is Lino Gudas. A minute and 2 seconds remaining in the penalty to Granato. Team USA leading by a score of 2-0 as we watch some fancy stick work by Jelinek. Across the line with a pass to Pavanka. Around the boards. Zeplichka over on the far side. Unable to get it back to Michael Pavanka. So Gary Suther for the U.S. bangs one off the boards. Didn't get it outside the line. Dudas. It's checked, however. Good play by Doug Brown. Moving up as well as Christian. Loose puck in the center ice zone. Jelinek comes back for it. Number 25, Tomas Jelinek. He had a couple of goals in the game against the Soviet Union last Saturday out at Saskatoon. Zeplichka got knocked down. The puck right out in front. Nice pass. It's kicked into the goal mouth and ends up back of the net. Pavanka waits. The puck does not get to him, and it's cleared out by Team USA.
Best scoring opportunity on the power play for the Czechs. That particular chance as the penalty time runs down 3 seconds, 2 seconds, and Granato is on his way out of the box.
Team Czechoslovakia did not get a shot on goal with a man advantage, and here's the U.S. team moving in. Roenick, hip chip it by Dominik Hasek. Nice play by Roenick. Hasek steals it and holds it. 7.5 minutes remaining in the opening period. This is the Labatt Canada Cup. Equipment Ed.
Seems he's been over to the bench twice now. Here's Jeremy Roenick. Watch the stick here now. Roenick trying to reach back for the puck. Hit Hasek across the back of the head. Hasek, as we had explained here again, he's down. He's very long in the legs and arms, so that could be one of the reasons his style is dictated with those long legs and arms. He can spread out a long way.
Reminding one another that they'll see each other at training camp with the Chicago Blackhawks after the Labatt Canada Cup has decided a winner. Here's Mike Modano. Nice move, and Granado is denied. Puck loose again and recovered by Josef Beranic, who's cleared it to center ice. Wolanin trying to find Modano. Modano checked closely. Beranic all over him. Now Wolanin covers back of his own net. Off Roenick skates with that centering pass.
Jiggs, I'm sure that the capable coaches of Team USA have to recognize the fact that so far Team Czechoslovakia have not hit anybody in this game, and in front of their own net they don't take anybody out. They're still playing the puck.
Exactly. Long cross ice pass. Palfe here on the right side dropped it off, and that's turned aside off the stick of Brzezinski. Comes right out in front. This is a young line. Beranic, Palfe, and Brzezinski for Team Czechoslovakia. The oldest player in the line is 20. Ryan Leach back for Team USA, giving it to Brent Hull and back. Leach checking his options. Elected to go up the middle, but Hull couldn't hold the pass. Over the line with it now is Sedno Seeger. Seeger drops it back toward the blue line. Schlager held it in, sets up his teammate. The sealed shot drifted wide on a deflection, and the puck loose back to Team USA's goal. Ryan Leach with it here. Reach off balance as he turned to get away from Kron. Robert Kron of the Vancouver Canucks, number 22 for Team Czechoslovakia. That's an icing call against the American side.
Interesting to watch also the Czechoslovakian team. They send the centerman and the right winger always in to do the forechecking. The left winger is always somewhere around the front of the net, and his assignment then is to back check and help out the defenseman. And back in his own end of the ice, his assignment is to go deep, where our centerman in North American hockey would be back in. I think they lose out a lot. For instance, if a left winger is in a good position to forecheck, if he can be the first one in, he should go, but they don't do it that way. Quite an awkward looking style, but somewhere they must feel it's effective.
Well, it's yet to prove itself in this game. Team USA leading 2-0. Goals by Pat LaFontaine and Jeremy Roenick. Olchuk out with Otto and Joey Mullen for the U.S. side. Here's Sutер. Long shot from the point, deflected. The rebound is shot off the goal post. A washout sign given by Bill McCreary. And up come the Czechoslovakian side. Leo Gudas can't get around Sutер. Rides him into the boards heavily. Jágr is there looking for the puck. Jágr can't get it to Kostek in time. And it'll come outside the U.S. zone. In Czechoslovakia trying to set up, but as Jágr moved over the line, he had a man ahead of him, and that puts the play offside with just over 5 minutes to play in the opening period. This is the Labatt Canada Cup.
Gudas being taken out by Sutер. Watch Sutер ride him up into the glass. Wham! Hard hit. Then he wrestles him to the ice. He's not finished yet. Somewhat of a mugging going on. Gudas is saying, wait a minute. Wham! Take a little of that.
Gudas was drafted by the Calgary Flames in the 1990 entry draft. He's one of several Czechoslovakian players that play outside the country, not in the NHL. He's playing in Finland.
Yes, he scored 10 goals and had 19 assists last year playing in the Finnish league.
International Ice Hockey Federation claims that there are a vast number of players, Czechoslovakian players, 231 Czechs and Slovaks who play outside the country, playing in Canada, the U.S., Sweden, Finland, Switzerland, Italy, Austria, and Germany. 231 Czech and Slovak players outside the country, and there will be more.
There's another look, a close-up look at Jágr, number 15, as the camera pulls away.
Pat LaFontaine won the face-off outside the Czech zone. Puck dumped in by Kevin Hatcher, recovered now by Richard Jedlik. Jedlik trying to move it up the boards. It was stolen by Miller. Miller, LaFontaine, and Christian. LaFontaine waiting back of the net. Kevin Miller couldn't get the puck to him. Miller, the only Detroit Red Wing in the lineup for Team USA. Puck played down the ice. Richter moving it around the boards. Pitching in was the defenseman, Jedlik, and it's knocked away, and they score! Елинек off the right face-off point.
A broken play in Team USA's end of the ice. You could hear it all over the arena. It went bang, bang off the post and off the bar in the back of the net. Here's grabbing the puck, Jelinek. Look at the shot. Off the goal post to the right of Richter. Here's the broken play. You could see Hatcher. He was heading up the ice. There's the shot, a beautiful shot by Jelinek, and it's now quickly 2-1. Big change in this hockey game. Team USA had it their own way. They made one mistake. Score is cut in half.
Jelinek, 29 years of age, never drafted by an NHL team. Scores here at 15:37 of the opening period. Brett Hull, big slap shot off the wing, high and wide, bounces off the back of the goaltender's helmet. And Team Czechoslovakia able to clear it out.
Hasek must figure there's another Team USA player in behind the net shooting at him.
Duck. Hasek battles one around the boards, got it to the left wing side, and Martin Brzezinski has cleared it down the ice. Quickly, O'Hanlon back, feeds it to the left side. Doug Brown tipped it up ahead for Janney, who was all alone waiting at the blue line. It was a nice heads-up play, but didn't materialize. Now 3.5 minutes remaining in the opening period. Over the line they come. Beranek trying to center one in front. Alfay worked it out, and the U.S. squad breaks down the left side. Brett Hull coming right in on goal. Shoots Hasek to save. Roenick the rebound, and he can't get it in front of that vacated goal. Team Czechoslovakia starts out of the zone, led by the defenseman Schläger. Schläger moved it for Braun. Braun and Seeger out there. This is a line that Coach Tim Taylor expressed some concern about this morning. Supposedly, this is the fourth line for Team Czechoslovakia, two of them with NHL experience, Seeger and Kron. And the other member of the line is Kolnick, the 23-year-old who was also drafted by the New Jersey Devils. Saw Richter make the save routinely. U.S. cleared it to center ice. Nothing doing there. The Czechs across the line. Seeger's pass, a bad one, is tipped. Loose again and recovered by Jeremy Roenick. Roenick and LaFontaine have the goals for the U.S. as the puck is tipped out across the line. And the Czechs will set up in their own zone.
Get the feeling now, Jake, that the Czechs seem to be taking over this hockey game for the last two shifts. They've been down in Mike Richter's end of the ice.
After this been an 8 o'clock start, they would have been devastating the way they're playing right now. Team USA jumped on them early for a 2-0 lead before Jelinek scored unassisted. U.S. clears it through center. This will be called for icing. An automatic call once it crosses that goal line. Just under 2 minutes to play in the opening period. This is the Labatt Canada Cup.
Playing the body, covering a lot of ice. They stopped playing the body. They started to stick check, and that allowed the Czechoslovakian team now to pull into their end of the ice and get some chances.
Robert Reichel just beat his NHL teammate Joel Otto on that faceoff. There's a hit. There's a penalty as well, a holding call.
Just what the United States doesn't need right now, with Team Czechoslovakia putting on some heat, starting to take some penalties. You see the signal. It's a holding penalty. Jim Johnson drawing a holding penalty. Some speed by Czechoslovakia. U.S. trying to hold it back. There's Johnson reaching out, grabbing. Czech player pulling him down. All of a sudden it could be a brand new hockey game. The Czech power play, which has not scored a power play goal so far in the 2+ games they played.
This will be their third opportunity of the period. U.S. won the draw. Sutер has slapped it around the boards and down the ice. Bача, property of the Hartford Whalers, back of the net. Jurgis Bача, left side. Smellick couldn't pick it up. Neither can Otto. Smellick gets hit by Otto, and now Jágr has it here. Jágr fed it to the right side. Kostak over the line, into the middle for Jágr, and his shot is blocked at the defense, going off Chelios. Another drive out of the corner, turned aside. Puck loose. Bача held it in. U.S. can't get out of the zone. Jaromir Jágr with a pass, but into the skates of his teammate and handled here by Joey Mullen, and down the ice it goes. 1:05 seconds remaining in the opening period.
One of the areas that the Team USA is strong in, Jigs. We talked about that last Saturday against Sweden as their penalty killing unit. You can put players like Brown out there, and Joel Otto, Christian, Mullen. And on defense you got Leach, Chelios.
Christian up front right now, along with Dougie Brown. This is Ryan Leach. 33 seconds remaining in the period. The Czechs trying to come out of the zone. Don't get out cleanly. Now they recover the puck. And across the line with it here is Jelinek. And that long cross-ice pass missed everybody. And the puck is skied high down the ice with 15 seconds left in the period. Neil Gudas almost turned it over in his own end of the ice. The Czechs get to the U.S. line. Елинек headed toward the corner. Lichka got bumped, and there's the horn to end the opening period with the U.S. holding on to a 2-1 lead. Well, as you said, the complexion of this game changed dramatically after the U.S. had that 2-0 lead and didn't play the same way over the last 7-8 minutes of the period.
You could tell by the reaction of some of the U.S. players. Now they're in retaliation. They were initiating in the early part of the period. Here in the end of the period, they're reacting to what the team from Czechoslovakia was doing, and that's not a good sign for Team USA, and I'm sure the coaches pick up on that, and they'll talk about that after the players get back into the dressing room.
Yeah, some work to be done for this U.S. side, And I would think Team Czechoslovakia would have to feel that at the Joe Louis Arena.
26 years old, Dominik Hasek. He's been busy in the first period, limbering up, and down at the other end, Mike Richter. As Richter tried to get the rest of his equipment in front of the only goal that went in. The goal post was there, but it went off it and got behind him.
And still 10 seconds remaining and a penalty to Jimmy Johnson of the U.S. Third Czechoslovakian power play of the game. Jeremy Renik moves in to take the face-off. Number 21, just going out of your picture, is Tony Granado. Out of Downers Grove, Illinois, Chicago suburb. Now a member of the Los Angeles Kings after having been traded by the New York Rangers. Johnson steps out of the penalty box. Czechs come through center ice. Bavanka's over the U.S. line, shoots it around Leach, but high and wide of the net. Bouncing off the glass and controlled by Eric Weinrich of the New Jersey Devils. Weinrich up the middle. Nice pass to Renik. Left side for Granado. Slips it in front. There's Renik. Can't bang it by Hasek. Now Madonna from back of the net. Fed the blue line, but between his defense combination of Leach and Weinrich. Moving in quickly is Jellinek. Knocked the puck loose. Weinrich works it off the boards. Up to Renik. One touch to toward Tony Granado. 3 Czechs get back. That's Madonna to Renik. Renik. Around Slager, loose puck in the near corner. Madonna moves in, but not in time, and out come the Czechs. Through center ice, Brzezinski with a pass to the right side, and then it's dumped in off the stick of Zemlichka. Richard Zemlichka, talented forward. Now Madonna comes to center ice, surrounded by white-shirted Czechoslovakians, and they knock the puck loose. Brzezinski, the Yager that slips away from him, only to be cleared by Chelios. Failed to get it back in the U.S. zone. Madonna, neat pass. Here's Olchuk. Can't handle the puck. Bouncing on him. Now he gets a stick on it to score!
Eddie Olchuk, who thought he had tied Team Canada late in the hockey game. The goal did not count. Feeds Joel Otto. Otto was standing directly in front of Hasek, unprotected. Here's the second effort of Eddie Olchuk. There's the pass, popping it into the net. Joel Otto, and Team USA regain a 2-goal lead as Eddie Olchuk finds Joel Otto all alone. Was Otto in the crease? Of course not.
Yeah, just to finish the play, Otto's first goal in the Labatt Canada Cup 1991. A minute and 25 seconds into the second period. Kevin Hatcher, long outlet. Joey Mullen couldn't handle the pass in the center ice zone. And here's Seeger. Seeger played it behind Robert Reichel, who bumps his own teammate. Bouncing in the air, knocked down. Reichel to Seeger. He's taken to the boards by Hatcher. Here's Weinrich. Lannon, excuse me. Can't get it to Hatcher. Now Joel Otto plays it up ahead. Olchuk is out of the zone as Mullen coming with him. Gives it to Joe Mullen. Back to Olchuk off the left side, and his shot is deflected high off Zemlich's stick. Team USA in the middle of the player change as Mullen ripped one just wide of Hasek's net. Puck comes bouncing back to the blue line. Leach played it in along the boards. Smelik failed to clear it out. Now they get it outside the zone, and up ahead on the play is Bavanka. Long shot off the blocking glove. Bavanka tries to center again. Nothing doing there. Americans with a 3-1 lead over the Czechs is Joey Mullen. A neat pass to Johnson. He's through center ice and dumps it wide of Hasek. Hasek around to the left side. Janney gets checked on the play, and Johnson will cover up at center ice. Jimmy Johnson lays it down into the Czech zone. Seal waits behind the net. Puck is stolen, and Brett Hull fired one wide. Now it's centered out in front again. Pad save by Hasek. Good save off Hull. Leo Goodis turns it over back of the net. Oh, the Americans came within a whisker as that one went off the post. Miller had the chance. Meantime, Jellinek is across the line. His shot is off the left arm. He moved it to a teammate and then up off the left shoulder. Goaltender Mike Richter. Here's Brett Hull across the line. Centers one. Jimmy Johnson gets bumped off the puck. Quickly, the Czechs come up 2-on-1. Over the line with it is Fv.Kучера. Fv.Kучera centers one, and the shot got through the goaltender Richter, but out the other side. Cruising back into Zemlichka. He's got it on the backhand. Can't pull the trigger. Out comes Team USA. Brett Hull drops it back. Janney brings it across the line. Slows up, sets up Hull, who missed the shot.
Doesn't miss those too often, Jigs, but that's a very difficult shot to make while in motion and being checked.
Now here's Yager cutting it off left wing. Shoots off the outside of the goal, and the puck is lodged there and held for a face-off. 16 minutes remaining in the second period. This is the Labatt Canada Cup.
Opening up here early in the second period, Pavonka with a fine scoring chance. Yager also had one after that.
Now the youngsters out there for the Czechs. Chelios moved up to talk to linesman Ray Scapanello. Chelios talks to Д.Браун, and now they're set. Beranek moves in to take the face-off. Josef Beranek, Edmonton Oilers, third-round pick in 1989, just 20 years of age.
He's big, Jigs. He's 6'3". He's over 200 pounds, so he has size as well.
Martin Ruzynski in and out of the face-off circle. He's going to go to the right side with Yager, and the puck comes back to the point. Lucille fired one wide. Schlager gets checked, and it's loose at center ice. Back goes Lucille. Lucille plays it off the boards. The check's up the middle, intended for Yager, who couldn't control the pass. Richter has played it around, intended for Christian. The Czechs hold it in. Here's Yager with quick shot, blocked by Chelios. Yager has it again. Tries to set something up. Turns on Chelios. Look at the strength, the reach of Yager. Yager chasing Д.Браун back of the net. Brown has given it to Chelios. Off the boards, but not out. Checks again, gets this attack mounted. Ruzynski to Yager, centers one, that's deflected, broken up and cleared by Sutер. Up the left side, Christian across the line with LaFontaine. Christian centers, Brown on the backhand, couldn't complete the play. 3 Americans back at that goal line as the puck comes out, only to be covered by Hasek.
Again, pressure by Team Czechoslovakia. Yager, what a job. Boy, I'll tell you, having a teacher such as Mario Lemieux to follow onto the ice night after night is paying dividends in a lot of ways, and one of them is his ability to ward off checkers in the offensive zone. Chelios, trying to check the youngster, was having an awful time. He's using his strength, he's using his long reach, and his balance on skates.
Now here's Hatcher off the right point. His shot deflected. It was a pad save by Hasek. U.S. leads 3-1. We played 5 minutes of the second period. This game coming to you from the Joe Louis Arena in Detroit. 3-0 Canada, we're told, and taking a very quick lead. Near the end of the first period now, but a big 3-0 lead in that game. And as you heard earlier, the Soviet Union won today. Big victory over Finland. There's a shot off the post, then blocked by Richter, and he covers the puck. So the Soviets beat Finland. Canada has a 3-0 lead over Sweden. And here it's Team USA 3, Czechoslovakia 1.
Another scoring opportunity. You could hear it ring off the goalpost. Robert Reichel, Calgary's 4th pick in '89, blasted a hard shot that hit the goalpost to the right of Mike Richter. There's the shot, a beauty. There's the puck coming back off the goalpost. A break for the U.S. There was a backhand play off of that puck coming off the back. Kolnick taking the rebound from behind Richter. Richter was able to beat him.
Face off to the left of the U.S. net. 9 Czechoslovakian players in uniform tonight. National Hockey League experience. I think there's only 3 on their entire 25-man roster that they brought over here who have never been drafted by NHL teams.
When you think of the Czech team and you think of some of the players that did not play, didn't go to camp, didn't want to play for whatever reason, we'll get a chance somewhere. We'll give you a list of some of the players that did not show up.
Pavonka has slipped it to the right side. Елинек centered one. Richter out to handle it. Now Joey Mullen up the boards. Couldn't get it to a teammate. Checks applying pressure again. And Team USA, Vinny Olchuk just clears it down the ice. Back for it here is Leo Gudas. Down his defense mate. And man moving up and gave the puck away, and Otto just drilled that wide of the empty net. Team USA with a 2-goal lead as the Czechs come over the line. Jelinek handling the puck, slipped it around the defense and couldn't get to it as he was taken away from the play. Team USA clearing it out. The rule it could have been played. The goaltender does. Both teams in the middle of changes. played out of the zone by K.Hэтчер. Big pass. It's through to the left side. Starting with it is Ruzynski. Martin Ruzynski off left wing. Dropped it back, and Jágr flips it wide of the net. Team USA trying to come out of the zone. Miller gets knocked off the puck. It's loose for Jimmy Johnson. Up the boards. Here's Janney. On to Miller's stick. Kevin Miller, the Detroit Red Wing. Ups it back. Cruising in off the point is Weinrich. Centers, and it's covered and held by Dominic Hasek. 13 minutes remaining in the second period. This is the Labatt Canada Cup. In end of the ice. Greg Janney for the U.S. to take the face-off against Josef Beranic. Linesman Mark Vines barking out some orders. U.S. wins the draw. Janney gave it to Weinrich. In around the boards. Janney was well covered. There's Miller sticking the pocket of Schlager. And in and out in front. Beranic centered one right across the goal mouth off the stick of Greg Janney. And Jágr gets it to the line, but no further. Jágr playing on this line now with Ruzynski and Beranic replacing Palfe. Ruzynski with a shot. Hand saved by Richter, and the rebound is cleared up the right side. And Janney gets it out of the zone. Onto the stick of Brett Hull. Taken away in the center ice area. Then Janney recovers, but only for a brief moment. Jágr too well covered over on right wing. And the play called. Linesman Ray Scapanello indicating a delayed offside call. There's the local boy, Kevin Miller, came over in a trade from the New York Rangers. A rather controversial trade in New York at the time when Joey Kocur went to the Rangers.
Yeah, a lot of other players involved in that. He was at Michigan State for 4 years. He's from, as you mentioned, the Detroit area, so he's a acquisition that the local fans are all in favor of. He was the spark, really, in the game against the Swedes on that Saturday afternoon, last Saturday afternoon. His hitting really got Team USA into the hockey game.
Now the Czechs trying to come out of their own end of the ice. Seeger over in the right wing, played it around LaFontaine, but Christian covers at center. The outlet is to LaFontaine. To Dave Christian. Christian trying to cut in off right wing. The puck knocked off his stick. Christian got the stick up a little on Baccia. LaFontaine drifts to the front of the net, but the puck covered now by Hasek. And some pushing. LaFontaine taken to the corner as you look at Dave Christian. 3-1, the U.S. leads. This is the Labatt Canada Cup.
Some of us remember his father Bill and his uncle Roger. They were with the 60 and 64 U.S. Olympics, and of course the 60 U.S. Olympic team, like the 80s, won gold medal.
Davey assisted on the opening goal here tonight, scored by Pat LaFontaine. And Jeremy Roenick made it 2-0 before Jelinek replied toward the end of the opening period. Opportunity there, stretching save by Richter. Played around the boards. It's back toward Lichka, put it in front. The play broken up. Sutер can't get it out of the zone. Roenick did. He has sent Mike Modano across the line to Granado. Good drive, the fine save by Hasek. Granado got that away quickly. Roenick takes a hit. Granado gives one for Lichka. The puck is cleared out of the Czechoslovakian end of the ice. Jelio sets up at center. The pass through Granado. Czechs play it onto the stick of Lichka. Lichka with Jágr and Pavanka as they cross the lines, and Lichka overled Jaromir Jágr. Jágr checked as he tried to go back of the U.S. net, and up with it is Chris Chelios. Chelios, Chicago Blackhawk, to his teammate Jeremy Roenick. Roenick put it in front, Mullen in a little deep. Joey Mullen centers, and it's picked off at the Czech defense. Through center ice is Beranic across the line. Beranic a shot that drifted wide of the net. Jágr after it over on right wing, taken to the boards heavily by Roenick. Puck controlled by Beranic. Got it to the side of the net where it's covered by Richter.
Boy, that was a hard hit, Jágr. Olchuk then gives him a bounce. Was that Beranic or was it? No, it's Jágr. 15. Look at his head first. Jeremy Roenick hammered the youngster, had his head down, had him in an awkward position, took advantage of it. Jágr got up just as quickly as he went down.
I was asking Jaromir this morning why he's not wearing number 68, his Pittsburgh Penguin uniform number, as he's come over here with the Czech team. He just shook his head. He said, they don't like it. I said, who doesn't? The coaches? He said, they just don't like it. Can't wear 68. Well, he brought a beautiful Czechoslovakian crystal vase for equipment manager Steve Latin. I think there was some money exchanged in that deal, but I'll tell you, what a piece of work. Icing is the call against the Czechs. This is the Labatt Canada Cup. Craig Janney is out to take the draw for the U.S. Robert Reichel for the Czechs, and right in front, the puck slipped off the stick of Janney as he had the goaltender down and out. Long shot, that's wide of the net. Czechs starting to come out. Here's Seeger. Cross-ice pass. Goal by Kolnick over on the right side. Hatcher rubbed him into the boards. Another defenseman pitching in was Baccia. Weinrich, the U.S. clears the zone. No icing call. The goaltender up to play the puck. Past the midway point of the second period at the Joe Louis Arena. The U.S. leading 3-1. Czechs handling it here. Baccia over on the right side. Long pass into the skates of Robert Reichel. Calgary Flame test Richter with another long shot. Won't beat him with that. This is Seeger trying to cut in off right wing. Puts one in the slot. The drive off the chest protector of Richter. Good shot by Reichel. Now Brent Hull can't get over center ice. Baccia. Nice pass up ahead. Ruzynski, or Reichel, excuse me, has shot it in. Hatcher recovers back of the net. Kevin Hatcher to Brent Hull on right wing. Couldn't take the pass. It's going the length of the ice. Icing waved off. U.S. in the middle of the player change. Canada has a 3-0 lead over Sweden. They've just completed the first period of that game at Maple Leaf Gardens in Toronto. And here, midway through the second period, the U.S. leads Czechoslovakia 3-1 as Pat LaFontaine brings the U.S. across the line. Nice pass. Brown shot deflected wide. Christian with it here. After the blue line, Chelios. Hard pass away from Suther. Czechs trying to come out around the boards. Christian pitching in. Plays it to the corner. This is LaFontaine. Slips away from one Czech. Trying to get around the second, and the puck knocked off his stick. Chelios can't get it away from Pavanka. Quickly, 2-on-1. The Czechs over the line. Big drive wide of Richter as Zemlichka teed it up. LaFontaine has cleared the zone. The Czechs with it again at center ice. That's K.Hэтчер backhanding it into the U.S. territory.
Kind of an odd choice of plays, Jigs. They had a 2-on-1 break. Jelinek was on the right side, but he quit skating.
Yeah, now Doug Brown brings the U.S. across the Czech line. He surrounded three of them right there, breaking up that rush. Now around the boards and up the left side, Ruzicka. And he has put it on Beranek's stick. He gets checked at the blue line, and here's Granato to Roenick. Jeremy Roenick chasing a loose puck as we welcome our CTV audience across Canada. I'm Jigs McDonald with Ed Westfall. We have 7.5 minutes remaining in the second period. Team USA leading Czechoslovakia by a score of 3-1. LaFontaine and Roenick scored in the first period before Jelinek replied for Czechoslovakia. Joel Otto, the Calgary Flame centerman, scoring his first goal of the Labatt Canada Cup 91, coming a minute and 25 seconds into the second period.
One of the advantages now for the U.S. after they regained the 3-1 lead, Jigs, is the fact that they can use a little more of their bench. They were starting to squeeze down. Early in the hockey game, things weren't working out too well till the goal by Joel Otto. Now you see things kind of loosen up a little bit, more players getting into the action.
Chicago Blackhawks' Jeremy Roenick on the draw here. The youngster Beranek won the faceoff. Shinsky played it back to the net, and the Czechs in the white uniforms move it to the right side for Yager, who was well covered. Roenick, and he had Madonna open, but elected not to give it to him. Moving it off the blue line here is Jimmy Johnson. Johnson plays it around the boards. Yager hit hard again by Roenick. They've been at one another all evening. Yager wearing number 15 for the Czechs. Johnson, the Minnesota Stars, has played it down into the Czech zone. That's Frank Musil going to the right side. Pass behind Yager, off Ruzynski's stick and deflected. Mike Richter will cover it and get a face-off. Here's the recap of what's been happening here at the Joe Louis Arena tonight. LaFontaine before the 4-minute mark with assist to Christian and Brown. Then Leach and Hull assisted on Roenick's power play goal to make the score 2-0. Jelinek stole a puck, scored unassisted, his second of the Labatt Canada Cup. 2-1 at the end of one period. As you see, Joel Otto with an assist from Eddie Olchuk early in the second period.
I think back, Jakes, to that quick interview we had with Frank Musil at the end of the first period. He was talking about he hoped that the coaching staff would abandon that particular style of play. They were using the left winger never to forecheck, only to stand in front of the net and to back check and help deep in his own end of the ice. seems that they may have gotten away from that because the right wingers of the Canadian team were having a field day with Dominik Hasek.
In the second period, the Czechs are out shooting the U.S. by a margin of 9-4. Here's Seeger trying to break in. The puck knocked away from him. And the Czech defense will go back. Richard Zemlik goes it back of the net. Bacsa is the other defenseman, number 18. And here's Edno Seeger, the New Jersey Devil forward. He's played one season in the National Hockey League. Reichel heads to the front of the net. Reichel also having played only 1 year, that with Calgary. And here's Joel Otto, teammate at Calgary, playing a long pass to Joey Mullen. He's across the line on left wing, sets up Olchuk. Otto drives to the net, the pass was out of his reach. The Czechs clear the puck out of the zone. And Chelios has shot it right to goaltender Dominik Hasek, who covers it for a face-off. 3-1, the U.S. leading. This is the Labatt Canada Cup. Again, it's Craig Janney on the draw. He's out with Miller and Hull. Boy's a little too anxious. Race Caponello puts the puck in play. The U.S. wins the draw. Chelios to Hull and hits into that boom off the pads of Hasek. And there's a dive in the center ice area that's going to be called by referee Bill McCreary. The first penalty of the second period. A hook.
Jelinek knew when to take the dive. He did it at the right time. Sutер draws the penalty in the center ice area. There's Jelinek. Sutер hooked his right arm, but not hard enough to create that kind of a fall, but it worked. I suppose that's the main thing. Sutер, the Madison, Wisconsin native, the Calgary Flame, is in the penalty box. A power play now for Team Czechoslovakia. Their power play in this hockey game has been anything but good. They have sputtered and faltered. Haven't had that many good opportunities. Of course, a lot of that because of the good penalty killing that Team USA possesses. What an opportunity for Brett Hull. He's going to interview with us at the end of the second period. Look at this. How many players do you know that can do that? Grab the puck coming laterally and behind them and get the shot away in one motion. Not many. Brett Hull can do it.
Several of his 86 goals last season for the St. Louis Blues coming off shots like that. Well, he is really upset with the compensation factor involved with the Blues having signed Brendan Shanahan and Scott Stevens being awarded to the Devils. Very outspoken. Steve Simmons writing today in the Toronto Sun, quoting Hull and back to Brett after the statements had been jotted down and said, now this is what you said, isn't it? Hull said yes and went on even further. Kevin Allen of USA Today is writing Hull's autobiography. They have 5 more chapters to do. They hope to have the book out in time for the Christmas trade. U.S. a man short here. Jellinek playing it back of the net. Down to the far side. Very methodical. This is an area that the Czechs have to take advantage of. They've got to get something going on their power play to have any chance in this Canada Cup tournament. Hadn't scored a power play goal coming into tonight's game. They're 0 for 3, working on their 4th chance here.
Just a little too methodical. There's no nice flow that a power play should have, Jakes. They seem to be so mechanical.
They even iced the puck.
Remember the last power play they had, they were offside twice on it. There's the defenseman, Leo Gudas. He's 26 years old. He was number 3. Camera panning along the bench. K.Hэтчер, as he sits down. There's Ivan Holinka. He played in the '76 Canada Cup as the captain. Made it to the finals that year. Played 2 years, as Jiggs had mentioned, with the Vancouver Canucks, the 81-82 season, along with the 82-83. He scored 42 goals, had 81 assists, 123 points in 137 games.
Ran a tough practice here this morning for a game day workout, wasn't it?
Was it ever?
Chance developing here. The puck off Chelios, off Richter as well. 4.5 minutes remaining in the second period. It's frozen on the boards, and they'll bring it outside the U.S. zone for the ensuing face-off.
Some of the games coming up in the Labatt Canada Cup. Czechs playing Canada September the 7th. That's on Saturday. Sweden and Finland. USA plays the Soviets in Chicago. That game you will see, we will be at and bringing to you right here as we speak. Only it'll be in Chicago, not here at the Joe Louis Arena.
Will we know the difference? Quite likely. Our last report, there were still several good tickets available at Chicago Stadium to see Team USA and the Soviets on Saturday. And then, of course, Finland and Team USA finish up the round-robin tournament Monday night at Chicago Stadium, and we'll have coverage of that game for you as well. Frank Lucille down the left side. Drafted originally by the Minnesota North Stars, as they were then, now only to be called the Stars this coming season. Play called here. This is the 1991 Labatt Canada Cup. There are the numbers, 3-1, U.S. leading, under 4 minutes remaining in the second period. And the teams are back at 6 aside after Suter's hooking penalty, and again, Team Czechoslovakia does not mount a shot on goal during that 2 minutes ban. Jim Johnson turns back of the net. Weinrich is his defense mate. Trouble getting the puck to him. Now Weinrich goes back of the U.S. goal, tries the left side. Held in by the Czech. Seeger's shot blocked by Weinrich. Seeger with it again. Gets bumped by Eric Weinrich, teammates in New Jersey, and the puck is loose back of the U.S. goal. Under the strength here, but they can't one-hand it in front. Good effort by Robert Reichel. Here's Pat LaFontaine cutting through center ice. Drops it back to the blue line, and unable to handle it or do anything was Renik. Baccia leading the rush. Defensemen up to join the play, but they put things offside at the U.S. blue line, and exactly 3 minutes remain in the second period.
Interesting when you think of some of the names that are not in the lineup for Team Czechoslovakia. As you look at the bench of Team USA, there's the Czech team, Peter Stastny. He said he wasn't going to play because there wasn't enough Slovaks playing on the team. David Volek, Jari Hrdina, Peter Klima, Edmonton Oilers. He wanted to wait until they came over here. He didn't want to show up for training camp in Czechoslovakia. And Coach Ivan Holinka said, no, that won't work. Ruzicka, Vladimir Ruzicka, Robert Hollick, some of the names missing from Team Czechoslovakia.
Guys decided they didn't want to go to Nürnberg, wherever that is in Czechoslovakia. That's where they had their training camp. Holinka said if you're not there for the full 2 weeks of training before we go to Canada, you have no chance of being on the team. David Volek of the Islanders said he thought he had done his duty playing in the World Tournament last April. Team USA trying to break out of the zone. The Penguins' Joey Mullen is knocked down. And the Cats, Ivanka couldn't get it in front of the net. Eddie Olchuk playing now for the Winnipeg Jets has cleared it out. Turning in the center ice area is Zemlichka, who got knocked off his pins. Ivanka trying to screen Richter, who pokes the puck toward the corner, and Olchuk is on it. Down the boards for Joey Mullen. Mullen, the New York native, his brother Brian is on the roster, hasn't played yet. Here's Olchuk across the line. Cuts to the left side, and then dumps it in. Joey Mullen centers from back of the net, couldn't get it to Janney. Jacks come up 3-on-3. Yager leading the rush. Jaromir Jagr across the line, pulls up. It's pushed by Chelios. Over to help out is Brent Hull, and he clears the zone.
Kind of a lonely feeling for Yager that time, Jigs. He was up a 3-on-3 rush, and two of his teammates went for a change.
Now, a long shot. Just wide of the net. That one off Beranek's stick. We haven't seen Palfy in this second period. He played a couple of shifts in the first period. The youngster got hit this morning. He was reaching into the net at the end of practice, pulling the pucks out. One of his teammates drilled the puck. I mean, blasted it, and it went right off his hand. That's smart, and he may have a broken bone. I'm only speculating here, but the shot that he took was wicked. Now Miller closes in, goes back of the net. Centers one in the goal crease. Hasek dives on it and holds it for a face-off. Late in the second period, this is the Labatt Canada Cup.
Period by Team USA. Behind the net, waiting, Kevin Miller. There's the play to the front. Hasek moves across, grabs a hold of the puck. Hull had really started the rush. A Czech goaltender who has played in 5 World Cups and the '88 Olympics at Calgary makes another save.
That one by Brown just went wide of the net. It's centered out in front. Hasek down, rolling around in the goal mouth, but he has been able to smother the puck.
Every play around the net looks dangerous.
Yeah.
With Hasek, he's down on all fours. He's groveling around down there. But in the second period, so far, he's been able to do the job. There's the shot. He stretches out. I wonder what a goalie coach would say about the way he handled that save. He does get the job done, but it's a little awkward in its look.
I'll tell you what.
We'll get Joe Bertagna one of these days to maybe give us an idea of how that goes about. He's the goalie coach of Team USA, of course, with the Boston Bruins.
Hasek had been without a stick for a few moments here. And returned to him. There's LaFontaine setting up Doug Brown. Holds and shoots. That deflected off the defenseman Bача. Cleared around the boards and out of the zone with 28 seconds left in the second period. Kevin Hatcher back for it. Hatcher to the right side. Doug Brown backhands it out of the zone. Up ahead is LaFontaine. He is offside. He tipped the puck behind Hasek anyway, but the whistle had already sounded.
Always dangerous, Pat LaFontaine. From a standing stop to top speed, nobody is quicker.
LaFontaine, one of 5 Michigan, well, actually born in Missouri, so we'll make him not one of the 5 Michigan players on this team. Mentioned not in the lineup tonight, the Islanders defenseman Jeff Norton. Norton's been bothered by a shoulder, had off-season surgery. Today he went over to the University of Michigan to check in with the team doctor, the guy who had looked after him during his college career, just to make sure that it was progressing as well as he thought. He has not played a game. He did play several games prior to the tournament. Nothing thus far as the U.S. playing their 3rd game tonight.
New York Islanders, as you point out, there's 3 players here. Randy Wood rounds out the other player, has not played in the game also.
There's the horn ending the second period, a rather uneventful period. Only 1 penalty, only 1 goal. Hasek didn't have a whole lot of work. Richter was the busier of the 2 goaltenders that period.
Was busy, Jigs, when you think it's 11 shots on Richter, and it wasn't until near the end of the second period that Team USA got 2 or 3 shots at Hasek. He ended up having to stop 7 in the period.
Well, coming into the game, Jim Taylor said that he felt that if the U.S. played the game that they were capable of, and that is taking away center ice, clogging it up, forcing everything to the outside, that would give the Czech defense an opportunity to let the U.S. win the game. Not too high praise for Team Czechoslovakia's D, but through 2 periods, it's a low-scoring game. The U.S. 3, Czechoslovakia 1. This is the 1991 Labatt Canada Cup.
Slovakia 3-1 at the end of the second period. And along with me at this time, we've got the 80.
There's your score from the Joe Louis Arena in Detroit as we get ready for the 3rd period. Team USA with goals from LaFontaine, Slovakian squad. Ivan Halenka sent out his forward line with Pavanka in the middle, Jelinek on the right side, and over on left wing, Richard Zemlichka. Ronik's line, Ronik with Tony Granado and Mike Modano for the U.S. Brian Leach on defense moving up the boards, got checked. And Czechs can't get to a loose puck in the U.S. end of the ice. Modano trying to get away from Michael Pavanka. Modano to Ronik, took the pass and escaped, neatly up ahead. And at center ice, Granado puts it deep in the Czech end of the ice. Real Goodis playing around the boards. It's intercepted. Team USA's Tony Granado just played it out of the reach of Mike Modano. Here's Pavanka. Crisscrossing as he hit the blue line. Jelinek moved in with him, but Team USA comes up with the puck. J.R. Jeremy Ronik. Long pass to the blue line. Mandolchuk blasts one off the glass. Modano peels back and started into forecheck. U.S. in the middle of the line change. Barry Schleger, the young defenseman, plays it around the boards. Schleger then completed the play with a good hit on Olchuk. Across the line, Zemlichka dropped it back. Quick shot off Richter. It's loose in the far corner. Chelios to the line, but not out. Lucille turns it over. U.S. comes to center. Olchuk cuts to the right side. Trying to get it to his teammate. That didn't work. Now the Czechs with a chance. Jágr up the slot. Shoots. He scores!
Things changing on Team USA. Jágr started the play in the center ice area. 19-year-old. There he is as he grabs the puck across. Stick checking again by Team USA. Using the defenseman as a shield. He put it between the legs of Mike Richter. And it's now 3-2 early in the 3rd period. Jágr grabs the puck. Beautiful wrist shot. Using the defenseman Chris Chelios has a screen. It's now 3-2 early in the third period.
Watching him in practice this morning, I was sitting with Brian Murray, the coach and general manager of the Detroit Red Wings, and he said, you know, a couple of years from now, he's going to be one of the best in the league. He'll be probably this season one of the top 10 in the National Hockey League. And Mario gets a little older. Wayne's not playing anymore, referring to Gretzky. Look for Jágr to be one of the very best. Oh, the folks in Pittsburgh watching on KBL were cheering as he scored, but groaning a little bit because the U.S. now leads only 3-2. U.S. in the dark blue uniforms. Lennon left the puck back of the net, gets to it. He and Kevin Hatcher teamed up on defense as Janney's line. One with Miller and Hull work as the forward unit. Brett Hull, long slap shot from center ice was wide of the net. Right at the end of the shift, Miller plays it in off the boards. Here's LaFontaine. It's pushed off the puck. The U.S. trying to work it back toward the line. Could not. Then the long shot is turned aside by Hasek as LaFontaine crowded the front of the net. And the Czechs have shot it down the ice. Here's the whistle for icing. Early in this period, the goal by Jágr makes it 3-2.
3-2. They have stopped skating, Jakes. They're starting to stick check again. They did that in the end of the first period and a lot in the second period. They continue here in the third. They've got to get out of it quickly.
LaFontaine takes the draw with Dave Christian on one side, Doug Brown on the other. Team Czechoslovakia, Richard Zemlička leading the rush. Zemlička through center ice. Played it up ahead, and Pavanka has shot it wide of Richter. Zemlička gets shoved off the play. There's Doug Brown cradling it in his skates. And plays the puck for Jimmy Johnson. Johnson turns on the Czech forward. Zemlička trying to center one. Dave Christian up with it. Went rink wide for Brian Leetch of the New York Rangers. Leetch, born in Corpus Christi, Texas, all alone in front and shot wide by Doug Brown. LaFontaine digs the puck out of the corner. Centers for Leetch. Shifts to the forehand and is checked before he can dish it off.
Exactly what the United States needs. They need some of their big players to take charge, and Brian Leetch is one of them that can do it.
Now the Czechs over the line, 3-on-3. Able to hold the puck in was Thomas Jelinek. Zemlička gets bumped by Jimmy Johnson. The U.S. trying to come out on the left side with that long pass to Christian. Slipped it up ahead to Roenick. Roenick trying to get through traffic, cannot. Jelinek can't get back inside the U.S. zone. The U.S. setting up here. Chelios and Suther out on defense. The forward line is Modano with Roenick and Granato. Suther to Roenick, who shot it in. Mike Modano lays a heavy hit on the Czech defender. Broke his stick. And his teammate, Tony Granado, can't come up with a loose puck. Yuri Schlager, son of Yuri Bubala. Remember Bubala played for the Vancouver Canucks. This is his youngster out here tonight. 15 minutes and 42 seconds remaining in the third period. This is the Labatt Canada Cup. Joe Louis Arena. Team USA 3, Team Czechoslovakia 2. Identical records for these two teams in the 1991 Labatt Canada Cup. A win and a loss. They have not played common opponents, and the puck goes out of play here. The Czechs defeated the Soviet Union before losing 1-0 to Finland. Team USA opened up with a win over the Swedes. Opened up here tonight with a 2-0 lead on goals by LaFontaine and Roenick before Jelinek replied late in the first period. Joel Otto with the only goal of the second period. And Jaromir Jágr, a minute and a half into the third period, cutting Team USA's lead to 1 goal. Team USA has had only 1 shot on goal through the first 4.5 minutes of this third period. The Czechs have had a couple, and of course scored on 1. Goal by Jágr. Kevin Hatcher slipped it to Joey Mullen. 4 Czechs back. Mullen forced to dump it in. It's recovered here by Lucille. Lucille trying to move it up. Weinrich held it in, playing it around Jágr. Jágr frees it up. Gets it in return. Twists and turns to get away from the checking of Volchek. Otto on him here. And Beranek plays it to the left side. Brzezinski across the line, trying to move in on Hatcher's side of the ice. Brzezinski, nice little pass. Beranek chased to the corner, dragged down. Jágr with it here. U.S. doing what they'd hoped to do, forced them to the outside. And they come up with the puck. Joel Otto Knocked away and recovered by the Czechs. Brzezinski centers. Weinrich broke up the pass. Brzezinski laid the lumber across Otto, and there's a penalty call coming against the Czech team. Team USA will go to the power play. Bad time to take a penalty for the Czechs. This is the Labatt Canada Cup.
A slashing penalty. Tried to chop the legs off of Joel Otto. Didn't try to hide it either.
No.
Right wide open. The referee had his attention in that direction. That's where the puck was.
Second power play of the game for Team USA. They set up with Leach and Chelios on the points. Here's Chelios with a drive. Blocked. The rebound by Hull. And it just went off the goaltender, Hasek. Chelios feeds Leach. Bounces off his stick. Ends up on the near boards. Brett Hull had it. Lost it. Now Leach gets to it. Through traffic onto Hull's stick. Centers it across. Big drive. They score! Grэнато!
Number 7, the defenseman for Team Czechoslovakia. A poor job of clearing the puck. Madonna whacks it in. There's Hull with his play to the front of the net. Madonna walks in, and with a lot of time and a little net, he blisters a hard shot. Team USA, their 4th goal. There's Hull's backhand shot. There's a ripping hard shot by Mike Madonna, and it's 4-2.
Madonna has scored 28 goals for the Minnesota North Stars last season. It's the power play goal at the 5:50 mark of this 3rd period. Little breathing room for Team USA. We said at the outset that this is a big game for both countries. The hopes of going to the playoffs after they round robin, after they've played all the other 5 teams. The top 4 teams meet. First game is a sudden death semifinal. The 2 winners to go to a best-of-3 final round for the Canada Cup 1991. Kevin Miller clearing the puck out of the U.S. zone. Jelinek recovers at center ice. His pass on and off the stick of Zemlichka. Zemlichka with it again. Trying to get around the check of Jani. Does as he turned neatly and then fed Yager. Yager and Suther in front of him. Jani slips it up ahead. Here's Miller across the line. Brett Hull goes after it now, but Lucille is there. Czechs trying to come up right wing. Yager, long pass. Zemlichka over on the left side. Beranek drifting in front of the net. Couldn't get the puck to him. Hatcher frees it up. Then it's stolen, and Yager puts it off the pads of Richter. Loose in front. Zemlichka is checked. There's a drive by Slager that just missed. Comes bouncing off the side of the net. Back comes Team USA. Kevin Miller down the left side. Played it in around the defense. Chasing it down is Frank Lucille. Lucille from the Calgary Flames to Jaromir Jagr of the Pittsburgh Penguins. Jagr plays it around the boards. The Czechs go for a player change as Richter tries to play it to the boards. Did, but Christian is well covered, and here's Jagr with it now. Wolanin takes him to the boards and holds him there. The puck loose. Christian trying to fish it out of some skates. That didn't work. Jagr put one out in front. Didn't have any help open. Back with it is Doug Brown. LaFontaine with him on the left side. Took the pass, then gets checked. Shot in off the boards by Christian. The U.S. has to regain the blue line to get the play back on side, and they do safely. Czech starting out of the zone, led by Brzezinski. Falling at center ice. Christian is over the line. Had LaFontaine with him. Couldn't get the puck to him. That was Robert Braun. His first shift of this 3rd period, I believe. Czechs unable to go anywhere. Now they dump the puck in off Bacha's stick. Weinrich from the exchange with Richter. Eric Weinrich to Dave Christian. His long outlet went off Bacha. Czechs back into the U.S. zone once more. Weinrich takes the man. Gránато went looking for a loose puck and was met immediately as Seeger was on him. Trying to center it from back of the net. Here's Jimmy Johnson for the U.S.
Get the feeling, Jakes, that the Czech team are trying to open the game up. U.S. isn't letting them happen, and here's another penalty to the Czechs.
Jimmy Johnson dragged down as he danced across the blue line. This will be the 3rd power play opportunity of the game for Team USA. They've been successful on the 2 previous. This is the Labatt Canada Cup.
Penalty. Jim Johnson with a nice move. Look at, he splits the defense. He's in. He's going for the net. Hooked up from behind by Bacca. So Team USA getting things their own way now.
Brett Hull tees one up, rattled around in front on a deflection, and it's dug loose. Hull with it. Slipped it into the slot, and the Czechs are able to clear it down the ice. Brett Hull, Mike Modano, and Jeremy Roenick, the forwards for Team USA, with Leach and Chelios on defense. Here's Chris Chelios. Modano drifts in, Roenick to the front of the net as it came back to Leach. Round one check and then couldn't get totally around Gudas. And Team Czechoslovakia comes away as Beranek dumps it in. 35 seconds, it's ticked off in the penalty against the Czech defenseman. Modano on his off wing crashes into Schläger at the blue line, and Lucille shoots the puck over the glass.
Mike Modano with his head up saw Schläger coming. Schläger was lining him up. Get a look at number 4, Frank Musial, mentioned originally a Minnesota North Star, 5-year NHL veteran. He's traded to Calgary. There's Mike Modano. Boy, can he dance. You know, he's a better skater than I thought. Of course, with the way the scheduling is, we don't get to see Mike Modano and his Minnesota North Stars play that often. But Livonia, Michigan native. He was a first pick, first overall in '88, and he was only the second American ever drafted first overall. The first, of course, Brian Lawton back in 1983.
Modano just 21 years of age now. What a talent. Joel Otto lines up in the face-off. Team USA with the man advantage. Puck comes back toward the blue line. Kevin Hatcher. Gary Suther sets up Olchuk, and he couldn't get a shot off. Schläger and Musial ends up putting the puck out of play again. 1 minute, 1 second left in Botch's penalty. Team USA leading by a score of 4-2.
There's Ivan Holenka. Better look at him there. Good-looking coach of the Czech team. A fine skater in his day, a great playmaker. As we talked about the numbers he put up, he still got the same skates that he used the last time he played in the NHL back in 1983.
Feeling some pressure here, though, Ed. 10 minutes and 20 seconds left in this game. His team down 4-2. They outshot Finland the other day, 36-19, and lost the game 1-0. The Soviets outshot the Czechs 39-24. Yet the Czechs win that one 5-2. You figure it out.
He's trying to take, which has been a very dull Czech team over the last few years, the international team, and make it into something exciting again. Remember Milan Novi?
Oh, yeah. Now here's Jágr. Can't pull the puck around Suther. Kevin Hatcher works it up ahead. This is Joel Otto coming in off the left side. Otto trying to turn on Schläger. The puck ends up all the way back in the U.S. end of the ice. 25 seconds left in this U.S. power play. 2 for 2, working on the third opportunity. Offside pass across those two lines.
Gary Suther, a playmaker, deluxe of the Calgary Flames. As I mentioned before, the Madison, Wisconsin native. Played for Bob Johnson back at the University of Wisconsin.
He told me last Friday morning, after Bob Johnson had undergone surgery, that if he had his way, he would just pack his bags and go home. He was devastated, as we all were with the news almost a week ago. Bob Johnson had been found to have a brain tumor. Surgery took place a week ago tonight. And if you missed the report earlier, the Badger had a couple of sessions of therapy today. One physiotherapy and the other speech therapy. And his team leads tonight by a score of 4-2. In the capable hands of Tim Taylor. The teams are at 6 aside again. Weinrich flipped one in from the blue line. The Czechs come up 3-on-2, but can't get through center ice cleanly. Now they're into the U.S. zone and can't split the defense. Good job by Wolanin and Weinrich as they knock Seeger down. Here's Weinrich once more. Shot it in wide. Hasek will play it around the boards. The U.S. pinched in but couldn't trap the puck. And Seeger leaves it for his defenseman. Kучера at the line. Shot it wide of Richter. Taken by Brett Hull. Hull, cross-ice pass but behind his teammates. Czechs get to it. Pavanka trying to center one. That's tipped outside the line. Gudas left side, and it's shot in by Bachia. And play called, the delayed offside. U.S. leads 4-2. This is the 1991 Labatt Canada Cup. Tier 2.
Speaking moments ago of Milan Novi. He leads all current Czech players in international competition, actually in Canada Cup competition, I should specify. He has 11 points in 13 games, from 76 to 87 Canada Cups. You know that Mark Johnson is the leading scorer for the U.S.?
Yeah, lots of research there. Here's Kevin Miller. The puck goes off him and play called.
Take it one step further. Coaches in this game tonight. In games against each other, Czechoslovakia against Team USA, Mike Eaves, assistant coach of Team USA, leads in the games, the 4 games that they played against each other over the Canada Cups. There he is with the mustache and his headset on. The dapper, always dapper Mike Eaves. He's got 2 goals and 2 assists, 4 points, 4 games. And Ivan Helinka, there he is, the coach of Team Czechoslovakia, leads the Czech team in games against Team USA.
Another member of the U.S. coaching staff on the bench tonight is Jay Leach. Jay had been an assistant with the Hartford Whalers. He'll go to their American Hockey League team at Springfield as the head coach. His first head coaching job this coming season. Mike Eaves, by the way, coaches the Philadelphia Flyers American Hockey League team in Hershey, Pennsylvania. The Czechs move in here with an opportunity set up and a bad pass. And back comes Mike Modano. Modano's goal has given the U.S. a 4-2 lead. And then only 5 shots on goal registered in this period. 3 by the U.S., 2 by the Czechs. Czechoslovakia trying to get something set up here inside that U.S. zone, and it doesn't work. Zemlichka handling the puck, fires one from the point, high and wide. Modano handles it now.
The Czech team, Jigs, I suppose you would have to admit that in the average age they're much younger than Team USA, and yet it appears that the Czechs are running out of steam. They've had a much shorter bench, although a pretty good shot there from close in. Too many men on the ice, I would think. Seems to be a lot of bodies. No, it's a roughing penalty called.
Yeah, another penalty indicated by referee Bill McCreary. This is the 91 Labatt Canada Cup.
No, not to their captain, Joel Otto. Jeremy Roenick is in the box, a roughing penalty. So any chance that Team Czechoslovakia has to come off a power play where they have been unsuccessful in the game so far.
Yeah, they just haven't mounted much of an attack. Yager out with Gruzhinski. And Zemlichka, the puck frozen on the boards. It was in Chelio skates. I mentioned the age factor. Team USA averages 26 years, and the Czechs average 23.4 years. Their lineups tonight. Ivan Helinka with some instructions to the guys waiting for the next shift on the power play.
There he is, a little pep talk, and down at the American bench they're getting a breather.
Team USA will practice here in Detroit tomorrow before moving on to Chicago for their next 2 games. Saturday against the Soviet Union, Monday against Finland. We'll be on hand with coverage of those games for the 91 Labatt Canada Cup.
Always so much more fun to practice, excuse me, Jigs, to do a practice after you've won a hockey game. That's not conceding this game by any means to Team USA, but they do have it in pretty good shape right now.
They've played 2 periods at Toronto's Maple Leaf Gardens, and Team Canada continues with a 3-0 lead over Sweden. And an injured Czechoslovakian player down on the ice. Yager gets up very slowly. He got cranked.
He got cranked, I think, with a cross check. He's reaching toward his face.
These 2 teams met in Saskatoon in a pre-tournament game. It got nasty. And here tonight, Yager, you can see, is bleeding.
Takes a look around. There's Yager trying to handle. Look at this, right in the face. Wow, Sutер lays a heavy lick with a cross check into the face of Yager. No penalty as of right now, but we'll have to wait and see the linesman, whether they talk to the referee. He's consulting with a couple of different players, but young Jaromír Jágr, who's had a wonderful hockey game for his Czech team, takes a vicious cross-check in the face from Sutер. Let's take another look. Jágr was leaning forward. He was trying to handle a bouncing puck around the net just to the right of Richter. There he is. There's Sutер. Look at that. That's vicious. That's the kind of thing that Brett Hull was saying that they're trying to get out of the NHL. Maybe ought to talk to one of his teammates. It was in the game you were talking about in Saskatoon when these two teams played the final exhibition game, preparing for the Canada Cup. Apparently, Chris Chelios mad at Tomas Jelinek. Jelinek had carved into the face of a couple of the Team USA guys, and Chelios leveled him with what I understand was something of the same nature, that kind of a check, and they lined up the teeth of Jelinek on the top of the boards. There were several.
It hasn't been too nasty tonight. There have been a couple of occasions, and the most recent there, Sutер, and no penalty. And there is still 1 minute and 12 seconds left in a Czech power play. Rénik sitting on a roughing penalty. Puck comes back to the left point for Gudas. He got checked, and a diving Д.Браун was able to clear the zone. Robert Reichel slams it back in again. Brown waits over on right wing, golfed at it. Got it to the line and no further. Robert Krohn plays it back into the corner. Now Reichel sets up here in the right wing corner to the blue line. Back to Reichel. Reichel looked at Gudas, elected to shoot one. It was blocked and now goes wide. Brown and Bacsa after it. And the U.S. is able to clear it out of the zone. 5.5 minutes to go in the third period. Team USA 4, Team Czechoslovakia 2. The U.S. trying to win for the second time in the Canada Cup tournament. Said at the outset they've had success over the years against Team Czechoslovakia with a record of 2 wins, a loss, and a tie, and outscoring the Czechs 14-11, the various U.S. teams.
They beat them 6-2 and 3-2. 2 wins that they lost 3-1.
Well, that was the 1987 Canada Cup in a game at Sydney, Nova Scotia. The very first Canada Cup in '76. The game ended in a 4-4 draw. There is no overtime, remember, in tournament play. During the round robin, I should point out. Now less than 5 minutes to go, and the teams are at 6 aside again. And a bad pass by Jelinek. Stolen here, Rénik to Granato off the heel of his stick and just wide. After the round robin tournament, played everybody one time. The top 4 teams go to the playoffs, and it's a straight knockout in the next round, the semifinal. The 2 winners advance to a best of 3 from the Labatt Canada Cup. Leach has played it around the boards, picks it up himself. Up ahead is Rénik. There's the pass. Out comes Hasek. Rénik a drive, missed the net. Hasek may have gotten a chunk of it. See Hasek back into the goal to cover the puck that's on the outside of the mesh, Ed.
Rénik shot it so hard it's hard to tell. It might have gone right through Hasek, the goaltender. What a free shot Rénik had. He blistered it. I believe wide. Here's a look at it. There's Rénik, drops his head down, then the head comes up. There's the shot. See the left arm of Hasek move. He may have gotten a piece of it. Bit of an altercation. Tony Granado having some words. There's Jeremy Rénik, the Boston native. Chicago first pick at 88. 94 points last year. There's the update on today's game. USSR, I guess you could say that the alarm went off for them. They won their first game, beating Finland 6-1. And in the third period, Canada leading Sweden 3-0. That game at Maple Leaf Gardens in Toronto.
You were mentioning Tony Granado. There's been a little pushing, shoving, nothing too serious. There's only been one fight in the history of the Canada Cup. That was in the Labatt Canada Cup 1984. Helmut Steiger playing for West Germany. That's when the Finns didn't send a team over. And Milo Horshova playing for the Czechoslovakians. They were thrown out by referee Ron Wicks. 15 minutes and penalties to each player. And that is a Canada Cup record. Most penalties in a game are penalty minutes. And there's your summary of tonight's action. Just over 4 minutes remaining. Team USA up 4-2 as Kevin Miller centered one. Taken by Musil, plays it up the left wing boards and out towards center ice. Chelios has it. Couldn't get it back inside the zone. And down the left side goes Bacsa. Sets up Jágr, and that is off Richter and ends up in the seats. So Jágr again draws a crowd here.
I would have thought that if a Czech was going to go after anybody, it would have been after Gary Sutер. After the cross-check into the face of Jágr. That's Chelios having some words with Jágr. You can see the fat lip, the blood on his jersey. 3 minutes and 44 seconds remaining in the third period. There's the bench. Jeremy Roenick, back of his helmet, number 17. Tony Granato talking with teammate Joey Mullen, number 7. You can tell that by their helmets. Of course, Ivan Hlinka trying to do something to get his team some scoring opportunities. What kind of combination of defensemen and forwards? They don't change them that often. Czech team, like many of the European teams, they use 5 men. Each time they change the same 5, 2 defensemen, 3 forwards.
Czechs still have Canada and Sweden on their schedule in this preliminary round. They play Canada at Montreal on Saturday and then Sweden in Toronto next Monday. I told you Team USA goes to Chicago for games against the USSR and Finland. Saturday, Soviets. Monday, the Finns. Team Czechoslovakia trying to move the puck in deep. It's back of the U.S. goal. Jágr took a look at Miller, who was coming in, and now Brett Hull frees it up. Allen moves it around the boards. Greg Janney can't dig it out of some skates. And again, it goes back to the U.S. goal. Jágr in forechecking. And exactly 3 minutes remaining, and a hit here. Referee Bill McCreary with the signal for an elbowing penalty as Jágr pushed at Miller. McCreary surveying the situation as he goes to the penalty timekeeper's bench with the signal for elbowing on Miller.
Kevin Miller takes a run at Jágr, gets the elbow up. Of course, I suppose that's a defensive action as he charged at him because Miller, not that tall, trying to make something happen against Jágr, who is in the 6'3" range. Here they into the board. There's Jágr as he turns. Here comes Miller. There, you see the elbow come up. Interesting that he gets a 2-minute penalty for that bit of emotion, and Gary Sutер gets nothing for cross-checking Jágr across the lower lip.
Now Team Czechoslovakia with one more power play chance. This will be their 6th opportunity of this game. Still looking for their first power play goal in the Labatt Canada Cup 1991. Vaca comes out, so does Jelinek, so does Seeger. They have Gudas on one side of the defense, Lucille on the other.
I wonder if Hasek will head for the bench, Jigs. He seems to be so far out. Maybe it's just a place he likes to watch the game from. He's standing out at the hash marks.
Gudas teed one up. Blocking glove save by the goaltender. Hasek backed in toward the goal mouth. Now comes out to play the puck. Off the boards it goes. And right to Brian Leach, who's dumped it in. U.S. floods the zone with Otto starting in. The Czechs come up with a loose puck and on this power play move through the center ice zone and on into the U.S. territory. And again, we welcome our CTV audience to the Joe Louis Arena in Detroit. Team USA leads Czechoslovakia by a score of 4-2. The Czechs with a power play. 2 minutes and 20 seconds remaining in the third period. Czechoslovakia in the white uniforms having difficulty moving out of their own end of the ice. Gudas got to the line where Dave Christian checked him.
All the little things breaking down for Team Czechoslovakia. The power play has not worked. You see little passes now that were working before, as you just saw there in the skates, as Dougie Brown grabs it and lifts it down the ice.
Yeah, that first pass has to be good. The way Team USA is checked, you're not going to get through center ice. Now they elect to carry it. Robert Reichel is across the line. Parks here on the right wing boards, then plays it in deeper, but Chris Chelios gets to it. Turned it over. Reichel centers. There's Jágr with a shot. Stretching. Saved by Mike Richter. Gary Sutер of the Calgary Flames after it. Got it to Christian, but not out of the zone. And again, Richter has to be alert as the Czechs held it in momentarily. And now Joel Otto shoots it down the ice. Madonna has scored for Team USA in this third period after Jágr had gotten the Czechs to a 1-goal deficit. Granato's a power play goal, making it 4-2, and we just have 1 minute and 10 seconds remaining in the third period of this game. Up ice with it is Jerry Schleger, the Vancouver Canuck draft choice of last season. Got one in front. Jimmy Johnson will clear that out. And the Czechs trying to move out of the zone. Less than a minute to go. Team USA up 4-2, and about to take a 2-win, 1-loss record out of Detroit. It will drop the Czech record to a win and 2 losses. Grэнато with a feed onto the stick of Mike Modano. Modano's had a strong game again tonight. Gave it to Grэнато, backhanded it in, but offside at the blue line. Game's at full strength again after Miller's penalty and is expired.
A lot of heads hanging a little low along the Czech bench. They're looking up at the clock, 33 seconds remaining.
Tim Taylor will begin his 16th consecutive season as the head coach at Yale University. Pats some backs. Good effort by his squad tonight. A couple of times they seemed to drift into deep slumber, it appeared.
Well, they stopped skating, Jigs, and whenever a team stopped skating, they stopped checking. They started to do some of that hook checking and trying to slow down the Czechs with their sticks. That allowed Czechoslovakia to get back in, but recovered from that well enough. Most of it's been sloppy play by the Czech team. I'm a little surprised. They've had some good individual efforts, but team-wise, they just have not played that well, have not passed well.
Here's Thomas Jelinek with a pass. Found its way to Gudas. They can't get through center ice. On to Grэнато to Jeremy Roenick. Couldn't get it back to Grэнато in time. New center ice is Michael Pavanka of the Washington Capitals to the left side. Uh-oh. Jelinek was out his stick. He got an elbow to the kisser. And now a team meeting has been called.
Tony Grэнато from Team USA involved in the middle of it. Two seconds is all that remains in the hockey game. You hate to see this kind of stuff happen. Somebody pulling the helmet and the face shield off Gudas, number 3. There's some undercurrents in the hockey game. There's been some stick work. Some slaps along the hands and wrists and chops at the legs. Remember, they back early in the hockey game. Let's take a look at that last play. There, knocking the stick out of his hand. There's Grэнато as he goes after Jelinek. He seems to be a favorite target. I had mentioned about how Chelios had knocked some of his teeth out in Saskatoon in an exhibition game. But it'll be a happy group of Team USA players as this game is over. Talking to them this morning and again before the hockey game, they were very nervous about playing the Czech team. They knew the significance, both teams having the same number of points, same record, win and a loss.
Team USA had scored 9 goals in its first 2 games, but it allowed 9. Tonight, on the verge of a 4-2 win. Елинек will get a penalty along with Grэнато. Brett Hull, who set up Mike Modano's goal. Hull has had a couple of assists in this game. Don't forget our Labatt Player of the Game award coming up as this game comes to a close with a 4-2 win for Team USA.